Well, hello, High Desert Church. Pastor Tim Sevilla here with you again. And we've made it through about 3 chapters in the book of Philippians. And I pray that this series has been a great reminder for us to rejoice in every circumstance, and also a reminder for us to finish the race for Christ. You know, Paul, throughout the entire New Testament, uses the analogy of running a race when it comes to our Christian faith. And he does that here today in Philippians chapter 3, verses 13 through 14. And Paul writes this: "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead. I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenwards in Christ Jesus." Now, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a race or maybe a marathon, but one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to stop in the middle of the race. And you certainly don't want to look beside you or behind you and get distracted by all the things going on. The key to running a race is to keep your focus ahead, is to look at the finish line, to look out for that finish line, to keep your focus on the race. And that's exactly what Paul is saying here. He said, don't get distracted by the things going on around you. And I don't know about you, but we live in a world that is full of distractions. But what Paul says here in verse 14, he says, "I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenwards in Christ Jesus." And such a great reminder that in our Christian walk, we can't afford to stop and to look around. We can't afford to stop and look back at what has happened in the past. We need to keep our eyes forward. We need to keep our eyes on Jesus. And so this week, I'd encourage you to maybe disconnect from your smartphone, maybe to disconnect from watching TV or whatever it may be that is taking your attention away from the goal, and to put your focus back on Jesus.